The Vorn Confederation had conquered 17 species before encountering humans. Their method was consistent: establish contact, assess threat levels, offer false peace, then strike with overwhelming force. The weak were subjugated, the strong were eradicated. It was simple evolutionary logic. When their scouts discovered Earth, initial reports classified humans as Category 3, potentially useful labor, minimal military threat. Human technology was primitive compared to the Vorn's antimatter engines and gravity manipulation. Human weapons fired metal projectiles or used crude chemical explosives. The tallest human stood a full meter shorter than the average Vorn warrior. Commander Drazd, veteran of 12 conquest campaigns, was assigned to Earth. He established a forward base on Mars and sent envoys to the United Nations. His message was simple: the Vorn offered protection and technological advancement in exchange for Earth's resources and manpower. "They're accepting our terms," Drazd told his lieutenant Krev. "They believe we're saviors, not conquerors." "Their military capabilities are negligible," said Krev, reviewing the data. "Their strongest weapons could barely penetrate our civilian vessel hulls, let alone our warships." Drazd mandated that all humans visiting Vorn facilities must surrender weapons and undergo full biosecurity scans. The humans complied without protest, further confirming their placid nature. When Earth's representatives requested a tour of the Mars base, Drazd agreed, seeing an opportunity to impress them with Vorn's superiority. The delegation included diplomats, scientists, and a single military observer, a human male named Jack, who served as a Marine, whatever that was. Jack was unimpressive, shorter than his compatriots, with a weathered face and quiet demeanor. During the tour, he asked few questions and maintained a respectful distance. The Vorn security detail barely registered his presence. At the diplomatic dinner that evening, Drazd explained the glory of the Vorn Confederation. "We've united countless worlds under our protection," he said. "Species that once warred now serve a greater purpose." The human diplomats nodded politely. One asked about the 17 species mentioned in Vorn literature. "They flourish under our guidance," Drazd replied. "Those that understand their place." "And those that don't?" asked Jack, speaking for the first time. Drazd fixed his 4 eyes on the small human. "Those that resist face consequences. It's the natural order." Jack nodded and returned to his meal. Later, as the diplomatic party toured the weapons facility, Jack approached a display of Vorn infantry weapons. He pointed to a curved blade mounted on the wall. "May I?" he asked the guard. The guard looked to Drazd, who nodded. The human was no threat. Jack waved the blade in his hand. "Interesting design. What's it for?" "Final subjugation," the guard explained. "When a species submits, we require their leaders to kneel before it." "Efficient," Jack said, returning the blade. "We have something similar." "You do?" Drazd asked, intrigued by this first sign of martial culture. "Not a weapon exactly, more of a concept," Jack said. "We call it End." "End?" Kreb asked. "You mean death?" "No," Jack said. "Death is just part of it. End is what comes when all options are exhausted, when survival itself becomes secondary." The human diplomats had gone quiet, watching Jack with strange expressions. "I don't understand," said Drazd. "Hard to explain," Jack said. "Easier to demonstrate." He turned to the human delegation. "Sir, permission to educate our hosts?" An older human nodded. "Proceed, Colonel." "Colonel?" Drazd's translator must have malfunctioned. This human was introduced as an observer. Jack pulled a small device from his pocket. The Vorn security scanners should have detected it, but somehow hadn't. "This transmits a simple message to our fleet," Jack explained. "Fleet?" Krev laughed. "Your primitive ships would take years to reach Mars." Jack smiled. "Those were decoys. The real ships have been watching from the edge of your sensor range for months, studying your technology, your tactics, your weaknesses." Drazd felt the first stirring of concern. "This is a violation of our agreement." "No," Jack corrected. "You assumed we were harmless because of our size and technology. That was your mistake." "What is this end you speak of?" asked Drazd, suddenly wary. "It's what happens when you back humans into a corner," Jack explained. "We look small, weak, accommodating, but we evolved as persistence predators on a death world. We don't stop. When facing extinction, humans don't surrender. We burn everything to ashes and salt the ground. The base alarms suddenly blared. Krev checked his communication device, his four eyes widening. Commander, unknown vessels have appeared throughout the system. They're targeting our. The facility shuddered as the first impacts hit. Screens showed Vorn ships erupting in silent nuclear fire. You see, Jack continued calmly as chaos erupted around them. Humans spent centuries fighting each other before we united. We perfected the art of war against ourselves. What you see as primitive weapons are just what we were willing to show you. This is madness, Draz shouted. You'll be annihilated. Maybe, Jack conceded, but you'll never forget us. That's what end tastes like, the bitter knowledge that victory wasn't worth the cost. The human delegation was being evacuated as Vorn warriors flooded the chamber. Jack remained, somehow unafraid. Your 17 conquered species might be interested in our approach, he said. We've already contacted them. Draz realized the true scope of the human deception. They hadn't been passive. They'd been gathering intelligence, making allies of his enemies, preparing for this moment. Your confederation is finished, Jack said. You just don't know it yet. As the human was escorted out, Draz watched his empire beginning to crumble on the monitors. The Vorn had conquered 17 species by exploiting their fear of extinction. They had never encountered a species that would choose mutual destruction over submission. They had never tasted end until now.